Hello, my name is Alice. If you want to know me, the first thing you should know is this. I am obsessed with cleanliness, but it's not just a habit sometimes, it's as necessary as breathing. When I was 12, I experienced the first major turning point in my life. My parents got divorced. Our house was, quite literally, chaos. My father shouted, my mother cried, my siblings retreated into their rooms. I sat quietly in a corner, trying to manage the emptiness growing inside me. And that was when cleaning became my escape. It started small, picking up crumbs on the table, wiping the dust off the floor. But over time, this ritual grew. If I didn't wipe something 3 times, an indescribable unease would rise inside me. It felt as if the world couldn't be right until I had fixed everything. One day, my mother looked at me and said, "Alice, why do you keep doing everything over and over?" I could see both surprise and worry in her eyes. I didn't answer because I was only beginning to realize that I couldn't control myself. When I got home from school, I would rush to my room. I organized everything meticulously. My siblings noticed, but they often teased me. "Alice, are you cleaning again?" they would say. I smiled and shrugged, but inside me, a terrible anxiety lurked. If I didn't clean perfectly, the chaos of the house would seep into me, leaving me feeling contaminated. After the divorce, seeing my parents' bitter glances made me feel like everything was wrong. The chaos at home wasn't just outside, it was growing inside me too. Cleaning was my way to regain some sense of safety. No one understood it, and I didn't expect them to. My world was limited to a table wiped 3 times, and when I cleaned it, my world became a little calmer. By the time I was 13, cleaning was no longer just an escape, it had become the center of my life. I would get out of bed and immediately check my room, organize my desk, books, and notebooks. Every day, I had to follow the same rituals. Otherwise, a wave of anxiety would rise inside me. School was even more challenging. My friends didn't understand my behavior, sometimes mocking me, or keeping their distance. One day, the most popular girl in class asked, "Alice, why do your hands keep doing that wiping motion?" My face burned, and I couldn't reply. The shame I felt merged with the urge to reorganize everything in my room as soon as I got home. My relationships with my siblings were difficult too. While they played, I watched. Cleaning gave me more comfort than playing ever could. Sometimes they got annoyed. "Alice, why are you always cleaning everything?" they asked. They didn't understand, and I couldn't explain. The chaos at home continued. Sometimes my parents appeared together, but tension was always there. I quietly cleaned in my corner, trying to control my small world. I realized that cleaning was a way to feel safe. Every wipe reduced my anxiety, if only for a moment. Yet, there was always a gap inside me that no amount of cleaning could fill. Some nights, I would lie in bed, eyes closed, asking myself, can I ever have a normal life? I couldn't answer. My cleaning rituals had wrapped my life so tightly that forming healthy connections with the outside world seemed almost impossible. Yet, there were small victories. One day, I was able to work on a class project with my classmates. I wiped the table once, instead of 3 times. It was a tiny victory, but for me, it was huge. Small steps could lead to big changes. When I started university at 18, a new chapter began, but it wasn't as clean as I had hoped. Living away from home for the first time, on my own, brought freedom and fear. My cleaning rituals still followed me. I couldn't study without wiping my desk, couldn't sleep without perfectly organizing my bed. Making friends was hard. People found my behavior strange, and sometimes mocked me. But one day, my roommate quietly said, "Alice, there's nothing wrong with how you are. You're just different." Those words lit a small hope inside me. Maybe being seen as different didn't have to prevent me from living a normal life. I realized I needed help. I started seeing psychiatrists. At first it was hard. I felt ashamed to explain myself, but gradually, I understood that talking about it reduced my anxiety and reminded me I wasn't alone. Therapy was long and exhausting. Some days, I still left the office with trembling hands, unable to leave a room without wiping the desk 3 times, but on other days, I could take a small step forward. Friendships became another lifeline. I formed a small group of friends who tried to understand my cleaning rituals and supported me. One day, we went to the cinema together, and when I got home, I only wiped my desk once. A small victory, but enormous for me. Romantic relationships were difficult when someone didn't understand my obsession. I felt guilty, but I learned that accepting myself and setting boundaries was the key to healthy relationships. By the time I graduated, life was still challenging, but things were changing. Each cleaning ritual was slowly becoming a choice, rather than a compulsion. I was learning to manage anxiety, take small steps, and ask for help. By the time I turned 26, I knew things had to change. Cleaning was still part of my life, but it could no longer control me. I started with small steps, wiping the desk once instead of 3 times, leaving my room organized enough, instead of perfectly. At first it was hard. My hands shook, anxiety surged inside me. But I learned to breathe, observe my anxiety, and tell myself, it's okay. This is enough. Therapy had guided me for years, but the real change came from my own will. I entered the workforce. My cleaning rituals remained, but I could notice them and set limits. My colleagues were understanding, and my confidence grew. Small victories accumulated, building my self-esteem. Living on my own was also different. In my apartment, cleaning was no longer an obligation, but a choice. Old habits occasionally resurfaced, but I learned to treat myself kindly. I didn't wipe 3 times today. That's okay. It's enough. Family relationships improved too. I could communicate with my siblings more comfortably and accept my parents' divorce. The chaos at home no longer harmed me as it once did. I had found my inner order. By age 30, my cleaning obsession remained, but it no longer ruled my life. I had learned to manage my anxiety, take small steps, and be patient with myself. I could finally live more freely and peacefully. Now, at 30, my life is still sometimes messy, sometimes challenging, but I have confidence in myself. My cleaning disorder no longer controls me. This long, difficult journey has taught me many lessons, and I want to share them with anyone facing similar struggles. First, make peace with yourself. Our flaws, obsessions, and anxieties are part of us. Accepting them, rather than rejecting them, is the first step toward healing. Every day, I start by telling myself, it's okay, Alice, you're good enough. Second, don't be afraid to ask for help. Psychiatrists, therapists, and counselors can guide you through the process. Asking for support is not weakness, it takes courage and awareness. Third, take small steps. Big changes don't happen overnight. I felt successful when I wiped the table once, instead of 3 times. Small steps are the start of big achievements. Fourth, build a support system. Family, friends, or communities of people with similar experiences remind you that you are not alone. My friends and therapists made life more bearable. Most importantly, don't blame yourself. Cleaning disorder is not a character flaw, it's a mental health issue. Being hard on yourself only makes recovery harder. Be patient and kind to yourself. I spent my life cleaning, but the most important lesson I've learned is this: keeping my mind and heart clean is more valuable than keeping objects spotless. Our anxieties and obsessions define us, but when we learn to manage them, we regain control of our lives. Finally, remember this: hard times will come, but every small step is a victory. Every breath is progress, and every day is another chance to give yourself hope.